you guys want to be a proud owner of a Daytona 660, in today's video we're going to be going everything financial wise. We're going to be going over how much this bike actually cost me to purchase, and also we'll cover the first service, because obviously buying this brand new, you guys get a warranty of 10,000 miles or 1 year. So until that 1 year is up, I'm going to be taking any kind of service through the dealership. But let's talk about how much I had to actually pay out the door for this bike, and again how much the first service was. But before we get into those numbers, I want to say we're going to be taking this bike today to get its first service and get that on the books. So join me as we take that. But if you guys are just here to know the financials, I'll leave timestamps in the description, so that way you guys can skip and just go straight to that if that's what you guys are here for. Without further ado, let's go ahead and take this bike to its first service, and then we'll be right back whenever we are done with that. So let's get to it. Alrighty guys, well, we are finally on the road. We are heading to our local Triumph dealership to finally get this bike serviced. As you guys can see, unfortunately from the last ride, whenever we went to the bike meet, we unfortunately went a little over on miles. So we're at 614, the dealership is 7 miles, so we'll be roughly at 620 give or take. But you know, it is what it is. So I'll show you guys once we pull in there. Later in this video we'll be talking about how much the service was for the first service, and kind of go into details on owning this bike and what it's been like so far, because I honestly have loved this bike. But we'll make a whole different video on the actual pros and cons of this bike, and what I think how this bike is from a 600-mile ownership experience, from that point of view at least, because I know some people have made some reviews on this bike who haven't actually owned it or driven it for a little bit, and or have more experience with a lot more bikes, which this is my first personal bike and absolutely have been loving it. And I'm a little sad because ever since I hit 600 miles, ever since that bike meet, I really haven't driven the bike since then, because obviously I want to get the first service. So I haven't been on this bike for about a month, and I just miss being on this. So I absolutely cannot wait to pick it up tomorrow or Friday, so that way we can be back on the road and just enjoying life and having fun. But needless to say, yeah, we'll see you when we get there. Alright guys, we officially have gotten our bike. First service down, everything good to go. So let's get on the road, let's get home, and let's go ahead and talk about the numbers. How much was the first service for me and stuff like that. So yeah, let's go ahead, get home, and we'll just go over all those numbers. Once again, thank you to my local Triumph dealership for getting everything sorted out for me, doing the first service. They have been fantastic to work with, so no complaints on my end. But like I said, let's go ahead and get home. And yeah. Alrighty, now that we got the first service done, let's go ahead and speak financials. First things first, how much did I actually pay for this bike? I got the card note here. I did pay this bike in full, so I am a full owner of this bike. That doesn't necessarily mean I don't owe any money on it. It just means that technically by the dealership, I did not owe them any money. And I'll go further into details of what that entailed. But I'll be leaving all the numbers here in the list of how much I paid for everything. So first things first is the actual physical bike itself was $9,320. That is the MSRP, I believe. Before the red, the bike's like $9,100 or some change. I know that this color is an actual, like, I believe $130 to $200 upcharge. So there was that, but the bike itself for the manufacturer retail price was $9,320. Thankfully in my dealership they're running a weekend sale where they were taking $500 off any Triumph bike. So subtract $500 to the first price, which leads us to a dealer unit fee, or price as they have it, is as they have it of $8,820. So this bike, before anything else, right off the bat, we got $500 off. So we are sitting at $8,820. So going down the list, we do have a $625 freight fee, which bumps it right back up. We also have a dealer prep fee, which was $299. And then additionally, we got a credit card fee of $147.39. We'll get to that and what that fee meant later down once we are done in recapping the whole total, because there's multiple ways you guys can buy a bike, and I chose a financially smart way that was smart for me, at least. All right, so further down, I believe, let's see. Okay, so that gives us a grand total of a cash price of $9,891.39. However, there's still more things to come. So after that, they have another tax bracket. They have another price bracket. Then they also add a service and handling fee of $169 right there, which puts us to a grand spanking total of what I paid out the door, all dealership fees, every single fee you can think of, and everything else, to a grand total of $10,060.39. So basically a little over $10,000, but basically you guys can get a Daytona 660 for under 10 grand. If you can potentially negotiate some of these other fees off or whatever, you can probably get this bike for 10 grand. And let's go ahead and speak about the credit card fee that I accrued. So to be fully disclosed with everything of this bike, technically by the state and by the government, I do own this bike. So what happened is I put, I think, 3 or 4 grand as a down payment, and then the rest of the money that was left over I actually put on a credit card. For some of you guys who aren't really credit card savvy or know much about that kind of stuff, it actually saved me a lot of time, and also it saved me a lot of time on my credit score, and then also saved me time in what I actually had to pay at the end of the day. And what I mean by that is, just for full disclosure, I have great credit, so I'm able to do this. People with terrible credit or lower credit may not be able to do this, so do your own research before you guys take a loan out. But I did some preliminary applications to try to get a loan out for this bike. A lot of places didn't want to give me a loan for a bike, and the places that did, I didn't actually want to go with it because their interest rate was so freaking high that it just didn't make sense. So after looking, I noticed that I could get a credit card for a big sum financially. I could get a credit card with a big total credit line through them. And then also the good thing is, some credit cards, if you're new with them, like a new credit card company, they can offer you 12 months, 18 months, and even up to 24 months zero interest. And that's actually what I ended up doing with this bike. So I ended up taking a new credit line, which did hurt my credit score a little bit, but compared to a traditional loan, I think that's the better route. And one thing that I think is the smartest move for me, at least financially, was I got zero interest as long as I pay the remaining balance within 18 months, which I totally am. I ended up breaking it up to be able to finish paying it off with 17 months, so just in case they don't charge me, because if you guys go over the 18th month period, they will charge you the full interest amount. So in all honesty, I think I really did a good job because I'm not paying any interest. I know some people can get a very, very low loan, which makes the interest very low. But again, I didn't even want to deal with interest. I didn't want to deal with paying someone else, because I could have just bought the bike outright. But it doesn't really make financial sense to just drop 10 grand. Like, if something else happens and I don't have that money, I'd be running around. So again, I just took a credit line out, and that's exactly why we got $147.39 on there. So if I didn't have that charge, this bike would actually be sub $10,000, which to me is incredible, an incredible deal. Well, also getting those $500 off actually really helped. But in all honesty, for any guys who are asking, is this bike worth it? If you can get it for sub $10,000, I fully endorse this bike. I think this is probably one of the best purchases I could have done. and without a doubt, I am enjoying it and loving it. I don't think I would ever go back and, you know, buy something else. I'm just stoked with what I got. So that's just for the bike. So let's continue with the rest of the card note, or the bike notes. So now you guys know that you guys can get this bike sub $10,000, but let's think about maintenance, because maintenance is very important on a bike. You know, if you're having to do maintenance every 3, 4, 5,000 miles, having a bike, especially if you're like me, ever since buying this bike, I honestly commute on this every single day unless I need to have a passenger, which I'll be completely honest with you guys, I'm not letting anyone be a passenger or a backpack yet until I get more miles and more experience on this bike. Eventually, I hope we will have a passenger and a backpack, but currently out of the realm. But other than that, which those are the only circumstances I would use my car, or if it's raining so bad, I don't really like to take the bike on in rain, because one, I'm wearing a leather jacket, it's going to ruin the leather if it's pouring, and then my other jacket, it's a textile jacket, so I'm just going to get soaking wet. So not necessarily something I'm ever going to really do is drive this in the rain, but those are the only two scenarios that I'm ever really using my car. So other than that, I think I'm at 900 miles now. I mean 600, just go with it. I didn't actually just get the service. I mean, obviously, I'm in the same clothes and same position as the first clip, but yeah, we got this service done about a week ago, and then once I finally got the service done, I literally did almost 200 miles in 2 days, because now that I know she's good, they looked at it and they gave me the approval to just have fun with it. Oh, you best believe we're having fun with it. Enough rambling, let's get back to the topic. Okay, so we are at 10,060 with 39 cents so far. Now, the additional thing that you guys are actually going to have to do is maintenance. So the first maintenance on this bike is when you hit 600 miles. So let's go through what everything cost me, but to be completely honest and just go through it quickly, the total for the first maintenance was $305 with 99 cents. So to go into depth with that, if you guys choose to do the maintenance yourself, you guys can actually save your guys a good chunk of money, because let's go through it. So they charged me $199 for a drain plug washer. They charged me $13.99 for 10W40, which is the engine oil this takes, and they charged me for 4 quarts, which ended up being $55.96. And then lastly, they charged me $15.99 for a oil filter. So that means they ended up charging me $193.50 for straight labor, which they have on here that the labor was an hour and a half, which again was a grand total of $305 with 99 cents. So overall, this bike, no mods, no nothing, just buying the bike outright, and then also the first service, under $10,500 overall, which again I think is a great price to buy a bike like this. That being said, let's get into some more details since we're making this video. So for me, insurance for the whole year, which insurance with Progressive, I have a relatively good riding history, or I should say lack of tickets. So if you guys have a bad driving record, I mean, your insurance, unfortunately, for a bike like this is going to skyrocket up the heck. I overall have a pretty clean one, so that doesn't really affect me. And then also, this is not a liter bike, so they're not going to charge me out the butt. But I believe my insurance with Progressive for a whole year, I do have some level of collision, I believe. I don't know exactly what I picked. I did this whenever I bought the bike. But my total of insurance is roughly $350, which I put there. So again, with insurance, first service, and buying the bike, we're under 11 grand, which I think, I mean, for me, an amazing deal. That being said, we're not really going to talk about it this video, but if you guys do any mods like me, I have a quad lock right here right next to me, so that way I can put my phone that you guys might have seen in the last couple of videos where I'm actually putting it on there. I think that's like $100 quad lock with the custom specific one for this bike. I also bought some frame sliders. I don't like the Triumph ones that they make, so sorry Triumph, but I went with Evil Tech frame slider here, and then you also get one in the front right here, and then lastly I have one right here in the rear. Other than that, I think overall, even with those little cosmetic things, I'm probably looking at $11,200 or $300 with everything. So if you guys wanted to buy a very similar bike and spec it out in similar fashion, I mean, that's what it would ultimately end up costing you. So again, in my opinion, is this bike worth what I paid for? Absolutely. I think I got one heck of a bike. I know a lot of people like to compare this to the Daytona 675, but honestly, they're in two different classes. That bike is more track oriented. This bike is definitely more street oriented, and exactly what I wanted in a bike. I wanted something that was more than 2 cylinders in a bike, red, and just sounded and looked great. And this honestly has more than had provided everything I wanted and needed. I do want to say, obviously, this is not including any gear that you guys might want to buy. You know, if this is going to be your first bike like me, you're going to have to buy gear. This is my second riding jacket, my second helmet, my second pair of gloves, and then I got some boots. I didn't necessarily need to buy any of these things. I actually bought this just because I wanted to be extra safe and even more protective, because the other gear I have is very lightweight. It will help if I get in a crash, but I bought stuff that was going to mentally ensure that if anything does happen, there's less likelihood of injury. So that's exactly why I'm wearing this gear versus the gear that I'm normally wearing in some of the videos that you guys might have seen. But other than that, guys, this pretty much wraps up this video. Let me know in the comment section below, what do you guys think? What do you guys think that sub $10,000 just for the bike and with insurance for service? Well, we'll take insurance out because that's going to vary for everyone, but first bike and first service is sub $10,500. What do you guys think? For all you guys who've owned multiple bikes, or you know, you guys have been in the game for a lot longer, do you guys think that's a good price? Personally, again, I'm very happy. If people tell me that this was the worst, you know, bike per money, I don't really care. You have a valid opinion, but again, I love the bike, and no one's going to sway me that this was a terrible decision, because it's not. At least to me, it wasn't. But with that being said, guys, let me know in the comment section below, what else do you guys want to know? I am planning on doing a review on this bike. I know some people have asked to do a review, but I wanted to wait until after I got my first service and had more than 600 miles down under my belt. And then two, here very, very, very soon, we are actually going to be putting the quick shifter on here. And from everything I'm reading online and from people who have that kind of stuff on their bike, they say that it makes it a whole different ball game to have a quick shifter. So I'm waiting for that, because unfortunately it is an option on this bike, but some bikes don't even have it as an option for you to buy one. So I think that reviewing it with a quick shifter is going to be a real big game changer for me. So but enough rambling, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, please consider subscribing, consider liking. I have other social medias if you guys want to check it out. I got a TikTok, Instagram. Then you guys can follow me on Snapchat on there as well. I post a lot of random things so you guys can see what I do in the day of the life, because it's not just bike content, it's just, you know, anything that I'm doing that I think I would like to show people. But yeah, hope you guys all enjoy. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and remember, peace out. And you gotta grind to shine. With that being said, have a wonderful day.